Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Sparkle English, where I help you improve your level of English. This is the second video in my new Back to School review series. We're going to review capitalization basics. You can check out my first video, Punctuation Basics, which I've linked you to in the description below. So first of all, capitalization is when we use the big form or uppercase of a letter instead of the small or lowercase form. In English, we use capital letters in certain places when we write, and there are many rules. In today's lesson, we'll cover the most basic capitalization rules in preparation for back to school. We'll also have a practice quiz at the end of this lesson. Let's talk about the first rule of capitalization. Capitalization signals the beginning of a new sentence. By seeing a capital letter, readers can easily spot where one thought ends and another begins. So after a period, we have a space, and we begin the next sentence with a capital letter. Let's look at this paragraph example. It's a beautiful day. Do you want to go to the beach? We should take advantage of this nice weather. The weather may be rainy tomorrow. Let's bring a picnic blanket and some beach chairs. In this paragraph, the only letters that are capitalized are the ones that begin new sentences. So we can easily see the beginning of a new sentence of a new complete thought. Let's talk about rule number 2, and this is a very important one. In English, we capitalize proper nouns. We know that nouns are people, places, or things. And using capital letters for proper nouns helps differentiate specific names and places from general nouns. So a proper noun is a specific name for a particular person, place, or thing. In contrast, common nouns represent general items or concepts, and they are not capitalized unless they start a sentence. Let's look at some examples. In this example, we have common nouns. The man lives in a big city in a beautiful country. The only letter that's capitalized here is the T in the, and that's because it's the first word in the sentence. But the rest of these words that are underlined are common nouns. Well, what if we replace those with proper nouns? Javier lives in Madrid, Spain. Well, now we've capitalized Javier, not only because it's the first word in the sentence, but because Javier is a name. It's the name of a man, so we capitalize Javier because it's a proper noun. Madrid is the name of a city, so this is also a proper noun, and we capitalize the names of places, cities, countries, continents. Here's some more examples. The company makes great smartphones. Company is a common noun, and smartphones is a common noun. What if we replace these with proper nouns? Apple recently released the iPhone 14 Pro. Okay, so the company named Apple must begin with a capital letter, even if it's not the beginning of a sentence. And notice the capitalization of iPhone 14 Pro. This one's a bit strange because the P is capitalized and the I is not. And this is a brand choice. Apple always chooses to spell iPhone like this with this capitalization, so you have to use the correct capitalization of the brand. Another example would be McDonald's, which has the capital M, like most brands. But Lego, for example, L, E, G, and O are all capitalized for that brand. So it just depends on the company. Here's another example. The river flows through a large continent. Again, we have two common nouns, river, continent. If we replace those with proper nouns, the Nile flows through Africa. You can see here, Nile is capitalized because it's the name of the river, and Africa is the name of the continent, and so it is also capitalized. Now let's talk about rule number 3, also very important. We always capitalize the pronoun I, regardless of its placement in a sentence. We don't capitalize he, she, or they if they're in the middle of a sentence, but I is always capitalized. Let's compare these sentences. I live in a beautiful apartment and she lives in a lovely house. She lives in a lovely house and I live in a beautiful apartment. You can see in the second one, both personal pronouns are capitalized, and that's because I is always capitalized. If it's at the beginning of the sentence, like in the first example, or if it's in the middle of a sentence. Whereas the other pronouns, such as she or he, they are not capitalized unless they're at the beginning of a sentence. So the next rule is that we always capitalize the names of specific days, months, and recognized holidays. For example, James is always tired on Mondays, but he has a lot of energy on Fridays. You can see we capitalize the days of the week. The family gathers for dinner every Sunday. I love December because my favorite holiday is Christmas. Here you can see we capitalize months like December, and we capitalize holidays like Christmas. Holiday is a common noun, but Christmas is the name of a recognized holiday, so we capitalize it. My Halloween parties are epic every year. Again, we capitalize holidays such as Halloween. Now, very important, in English, we do not capitalize seasons. So we would capitalize December, but not winter. For example, summer is her favorite season. In this case, summer is capitalized, but only because it's the beginning of a sentence. Her favorite season is summer. We would not capitalize summer if it's in the middle or at the end of a sentence. Another example, do you enjoy any winter sports? Many flowers bloom in spring. Okay, so remember, we capitalize days, months, and holidays, but not seasons. We also capitalize nationalities, languages, and religions. For example, Brad is Canadian and he speaks English. Canadian is a nationality, so we capitalize it. And English can be a nationality or a language, and it's also capitalized. They are Mexican and they speak Spanish. Again, capitalizing nationalities and languages. Mary comes from a Christian family. We also capitalize religions. So Christian is capitalized, or Christianity. Now this is also very important. We must capitalize the first word in a direct quotation. Let's look at this example. Today is a wonderful day, he said. Well, of course we capitalize the T because it's the beginning of a sentence. But what if we reversed it? He said, today is a wonderful day. We still capitalize the T, even though the sentence begins with he. And that's because today is the first word in a direct quotation, so we must capitalize it. Another example, what do you want for dinner? Beth asked. Beth asked, what do you want for dinner? Here you can see that we capitalize Beth both times because Beth is a proper noun. It's the name of a person. Whereas he is not capitalized because it's not a proper noun. So always capitalize the first word in a direct quotation. Now let's talk about capitalization of titles of works, such as books or films. Rule number 1 is always capitalize the first and last word in the title. Rule number 2, capitalize all major words in the title. And rule 3 is don't capitalize articles such as a, and, the, coordinating conjunctions, and, but, or, nor, for, so, yet, and prepositions in, on, of, to, etc., unless they are the first or last word in the title. The best way to demonstrate this is to show you some examples. So this is correct. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is a great movie. Harry and Potter are capitalized. Philosopher's Stone, they're also capitalized. But we don't capitalize articles or coordinating conjunctions in titles. So this would be incorrect. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, capital A and capital T, that's incorrect because we don't capitalize articles and coordinating conjunctions in titles unless they are the first or last word in the title. So if you see this example, have you seen The Lord of the Rings? Here, the is capitalized and it's an article, but that's because it's the first word in the title. And this would be incorrect. Have you seen The Lord of the Rings? Because we have a preposition here and an article. So these are the most important rules when it comes to capitalizing titles of works. Now, finally, we're going to talk about capitalization of abbreviations, acronyms, initials, and titles, different type of titles we give to people. So acronyms and initials are usually capitalized. We're going to look at a few common examples. USA, when people are writing about the USA, they'll capitalize U, S, and A, and it stands for United States of America. Another example, the FBI will capitalize FBI, which stands for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Here's another example where we capitalize initials. Many famous authors prefer to go by their initials, J.K. Rowling. The J.K. stands for Joanne Kathleen Rowling. Dr. Jones. Here, we capitalize the D. And again, all of these are capitalized if they're at the beginning or in the middle of a sentence. It doesn't matter. They're always capitalized. Another example, Mrs. Smith. Mrs. refers to a woman who is married. Mr. Johnson, this refers to a man, and we capitalize the M. So these are some examples of when we capitalize different abbreviations and initials. Now it's time for our quiz. There are 8 sentences in total, and you have to correct any capitalization errors. Let's begin. Number 1. My sister's birthday is in January, and she loves winter. Number 2. Are you free on Sunday? Bob and I want to go to the cinema. Number 3. The teacher asked, did you finish Monday's homework? Number 4. I would like to speak to Dr. Bernard. Number 5. I think the new student at our school is Italian. Number 6. My mother and sister visited me in Europe last spring. Number 7. Do you like to celebrate Halloween in October? Finally, number 8. Miguel is Christian, but his wife is Muslim. Okay, let's correct these together. Number 1 has one mistake. Winter should not be capitalized. Remember, we don't capitalize seasons, so it should be a lowercase small w. January is correct. We do capitalize months. Number 2 also has some errors. Sunday must be capitalized. We capitalize the days of the week. Also capitalize the personal pronoun I, so this must be capitalized. And cinema should not be capitalized because it's not a proper noun. It's a common noun. If we had the name of the cinema, Galaxy Cinema, then we would capitalize Galaxy and Cinema. But in this case, we have a lowercase c. Number 3 also has some errors. Teacher should not be capitalized. It's a common noun, so we need a lowercase t. We also have to capitalize did because remember, we capitalize the first word in the beginning of a direct quote. And we also capitalize Monday because we capitalize the days of the week. Number 4 also has an error. We have to capitalize the D in doctor because this is an abbreviation for Dr. Bernard. It's his title. Number 5, we have one error as well. Remember, we capitalize nationalities. So the new student is Italian, the I should be capitalized. Number 6, we have one error. We have to capitalize continents. So we capitalize the E in Europe. Spring is not capitalized because we don't capitalize seasons. Number 7, we have 2 errors. We must capitalize holidays, so Halloween is capitalized, capital H, and we capitalize October because we capitalize months. Finally, number 8 also has 2 errors. Remember that we capitalize religions, so we have to capitalize the C for Christian and M for Muslim. Okay, so let me know in the comment section how many you got correct out of 8. I have another video that's more in depth on different capitalization rules, which I've linked you to in the description below this video. Make sure to subscribe for more English lessons and click on the notification bell so you always see when my new lessons pop up. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Good luck if you're going back to school in the next few weeks, and I'll see you in my next video.